So the people who have sort of the influencers that have, I guess, received the biggest backlash, yeah, have been black women. First of all, why do you guys think that is? That they've been the worst affected in this situation?
And in terms of like the women getting the brunt of it, beauty is social currency for women. So it doesn't hurt a boy, even though I know that dark-skinned boys were also victims of stuff like this, 100%, not invalidating that. But to insult a boy's looks, as much as it might hurt, it's not going to affect him
as much of
in life.
I definitely agree with that.
But a girl, her beauty is her social currency. You can get into places just by being buff. You can move higher in businesses by being buff.
Real.
So to go and say something that is so valuable to a woman in terms of how she can navigate in certain spaces, and to call her ugly, that's what really hurts. And if you look at a nation, right, women are the birthers of people. But we bring women into the world. If you hate yourself, who are you going to attack? What brought you here? What put you here? What fully represents who you are? Every day you wake up and you're like, okay, I need to put this mask on. Either you have to overact your blackness around your white peers, or you have to underplay your blackness in other spaces. You're getting the light turned off and people calling you blick, people calling you blackie, people calling you the N-word, all kind of rubbish. Who can you hate? Like,
so are you saying that we hate our mums?
not like you hate your mums, but like if you look at it from just like a historic point of view, like people attack women, or like from a war point of view, right? Part of war crimes, or part of war has always been rape. People have always seen rape as a part of war. Why? Not just because for the sexual gratification or to overpower that woman right there. It's actually got more to do with the men.
Man, yeah.
Women are the symbols of a nation, the symbols of a group. If you rape that, if you destroy that, you overcome that. So if you hate yourself and essentially want to get rid of yourself, you attack what is the symbol of you. It's literally like you can see it throughout history. It's a reason why countries are female and seen to be female and have female characteristics, because we're the mothers, we're the nurturers, we bring this in, we are representative of that. So when it comes down to stuff like this, like, and I think about it that way, I can't feel the anger, because like it's all from colonialism. Like I don't like.
I mean, literally,
I can't feel anger.
You can always put it back down to that.
Like, and it's a sickness. So, colorism is a sickness. But anger, I don't get it.
Okay, cool. So I see what you're saying. You believe that there's something in men, right, that makes them feel like they can make statements by going at women. That's just a broad summary of what you're saying.
Yeah.
What about the women that were in? Because obviously we've talked about Nella Rose. So how do you think that? How is that playing out?
This is similar.
Do you think it's the same thing, or do you think it's
like when you're forced to assimilate, and then you see someone that isn't assimilating, and they're somewhat representative of you? You feel fear for that person. They're doing something that's causing us to stick out and make us look different.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've felt that at times in my life. Like when I'm in a place where it's like me and just one other black person, and let's say they're fresh from wherever, right? And it's just me and them, right? And everybody else is like, and I'm just hoping in my head, like, bro, please don't do this or don't do that. And it's like, it's only afterwards that you realize, why is it that you want them so badly to not do this or not do that? Do you get what? Where does that come from?
The embarrassment.
Because obviously, I think I've mastered the art of just being able to just chameleonize myself into anywhere I go. Everywhere I go, I could just, but if I feel like, oh, this person's gonna blow my cover, this person's gonna make us stand out.
You'll feel like some sort of like embarrassment or like
some sort of secondhand embarrassment, I guess, because I just feel like okay, now everybody's gonna sort of have this target on this person, and then also I guess subconsciously I just feel like, okay, because I'm similar to that person, that is also gonna be on me. Do you get what I'm saying?
And you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that and maybe don't even necessarily recognize it.
Mm-hmm. Like, you're not wrong in feeling like that person is like it's going to be reflective on you. You're not wrong in that. However, thankfully, we're coming to a point in our lives, I'm hoping, that we can have more frank conversations with people around us of other races, and let them show them their asses when it comes to you're being you're a racist. Stop grouping me like stop grouping me with random things that you have seen in your life. Like, maybe it's because where I grew up and stuff, but the loud people on the back of the bus in my area were the white girls. So like when you're kind of like talking about this kind of stuff, like, it's all got to do with wanting to hide. The reason why you'd make a comment about black girls being loud at the back of the bus, because like in like other places in Reading, it's like it was the Asian girls. So it's like everyone is loud because everyone's young and dumb. Like, it's not got anything to do with your race or where you're from or blah blah. But the reason black people act like that is because we're trying to hide. We don't want to stick out. Don't talk too loud. Don't be too big. Don't wear these colours. Straighten your hair. Look different. Like, well, now we're getting to a space where it's like, no, wear your hair, wear your weave, wear your lashes, wear your red lipstick, wear your blush. Do what you want to do. And we're in such a great space. We're in such a great space in terms of embracing our beauty and all this kind of stuff, that I was so disappointed that the conversation was so like surface level when it came to colorism, but just bare anger. And I understand the hurt genuinely, because I know people that thought about bleaching when they were younger. Myself, I used to pray to be lighter. Like, there was like all kinds of rubbish. I remember like one of my first crushes getting mad because someone found out that he liked me and he didn't want people to know that he liked a black girl. Like, all kinds of like rubbish like happened as a kid. But we're in an elevated space. Let's have elevated conversations so that the next generation.
But I think that's what it feels like. We're going in a circle, but I feel like that goes back to what Foles said earlier about, are we truly in an elevated space, or is it just like a trend that is just going on? Because if we were truly in an elevated space, I feel like we would actually see this elevated conversations taking place. But I think we're in this kind of fake elevated space. So when things like this happen, it breaks the matrix, and then we see that really, we're not that far away from 2012, actually.
Yeah. So, because honestly, if Tion Wayne is still rapping about light skins, then how elevated are we?
Every single song.
Yeah, so that's how it goes.
You like exotic.
I do get it.
That's true.
Like, obviously,
but do you think so for example, someone like Tion Wayne, do you think like after the first time he rapped about lighties or whatever, and he got a bit of pushback after that, he thought, you know what, if I keep doing this, they're going to mention my name every time I do it, and it's like publicity. Do you think certain people do some of these things now for publicity?
Black Rage makes so much money.
Nah, I don't know.
That's another topic. That's another topic. Because I definitely believe that in certain places, they're definitely trying 100%. To push people's buttons, right? And sometimes I just feel like people just didn't think about something and they did it. But in certain places, there's definitely thought behind it. There's definitely intention behind it. And,
for sure.
And that's sad, because they intentionally want to trigger us. They intentionally want to upset us. And sort of like a divide and conquer thing. That's upsetting.
Yeah. Because then what then happens is when a certain group gets triggered and everybody else doesn't get triggered as much as them, or everybody else doesn't get triggered, then they turn away from that. So let's say Tion Wayne, listen, I'm just using you as an example, but let's say Tion Wayne puts out a song today and a certain group of people get angry at Tion Wayne. Then they realize, you know what, you lot aren't even backing us and getting angry at him. So then Tion Wayne gets away with it. He gets away. He's got his promotion. Because we all know with black artists, they want to put a song out, they want to get the black audience to talk about it enough till it gets to a white audience. Then it's great. They can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
So he's got his promo, blah, 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 blah. Now he's in IB for performing his song. But now, you guys that were originally angry have turned to this group of people that you feel like were not adequately angry. And then it becomes an infighting thing. And nothing gets done. And he still has the leeway to come back next summer and drop another song. The same thing.
Yeah.
And you know what's mad? So if we think about images of black women, like younger black women and younger black boys in the media in general, a lot of their situations in terms of abusive situations, kidnappings, people disappearing, all this kind of stuff, we as a community ourselves make jokes about it and are a lot harsher. From a female point of view, a lot of the time we get compliments around being strong, being independent, not needing anybody. When in actuality, everyone needs somebody. Nobody's strong all the time. Nobody can be 100% independent. And it's to a point where when we're put in situations where we do need help and do need support, it's almost seen as a weakness. Especially in like our communities in general, we keep things to ourselves. We don't talk as much. In terms of like how that kind of then transpires in terms of when things negative things happen in terms of our people and stuff, we're very quick to blame. So like in terms of R. Kelly having people stuck in their houses and stuff, there was all of this stuff around questioning the girls about why they don't want to leave and blah blah. Like they were like the people don't know what Stockholm syndrome is. But with white women, it's fine. We understand Stockholm syndrome. We understand that people go through that and like they're not able to fully escape from their kidnapper or people that have abused them. But with black girls, we're so much harsher. Just get out and leave. You're not meant to have that kind of mental weakness where you cannot break yourself away from something. Like as much as people make certain jokes about like when little black boys go missing and everyone's saying, oh, they're in Crunch, like, still... some of them have actually gone missing, and if they're in Crunch, it's a problem too.
Yeah. That is as much a problem as if they got kidnapped. Yeah. It's true.
What kind of... We're so cold. We're so cold towards ourselves to a point where the white media doesn't even have to do it to us.
Yeah.
We do it to ourselves. It's reinforced by media, but we do it to ourselves. It's so harsh. Sorry, Folarin, you were going to say something.
Nah, I mean, I agree. It's just like it's been so effectively been internalized that we're just talking crud amongst ourselves. Like the hatred just runs very, 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 very deep. So deep that we almost can't take ourselves. We don't respect ourselves enough to take ourselves seriously to say, all right, look, wherever this missing person is, like let's be serious about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like when are we? At what point is it? Would it ever be reasonable for us to say, okay, like when is the behavior going to change? Like what is it going to take for the behavior to change, for the mentality to change? When are we gonna? What is it gonna take for us to be able to take ourselves seriously? Like, we're not gonna joke about if a kid is missing, is in Crunch, is it, or if a woman is trapped in a house as a psychopath, like she actually did have Stockholm syndrome, she couldn't really leave. What do we need to do?
A lot of work.
Program, isn't it?
A lot of work. And I don't even think it's going to be done by our generation.
I think it starts in childhood, though, definitely.
100%.
Because we don't see black children as children either. So it starts from there. Well, I personally don't feel that way anyway. I don't know how you guys feel about that. But I don't think we see black children as children. We see them as a lot older than they are. So it comes from there, first of all, and then it stems into adulthood. But it's not something our generation can fix, I don't think. I think it's going to take a long time, a lot of unlearning. But I do think we're on the path to it. I think we're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm concerned about progress, me personally, because
really,
like I said before, the whole, black girl magic, all that sort of positive affirmation stuff, like it's cap, it's low key cap.
No, it's not.
I don't think it is.
It worked. Trust me.
I don't
keep working.
I think for the most part, it's very shallow.
Yeah.
Really? What? Can you tell me why?
No, it's like what we said earlier, right? We think we've made this quote unquote progress, but then certain situations like what has happened recently happens, and we realize that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
I think there's a difference between that and like people still dealing with pain. Like people can be saying, "Oh, black girl magic, blah blah," and you're slowly getting into yourself, and you're slowly like, okay, maybe my melanin is popping, maybe it's nice that I'm dark skinned. And as you're going through that progress, and you're seeing all these positive affirmations, one day you go into the TL and you're seeing all the stuff that scarred you. That's why the conversation was so like stupid, because people were coming from a place of pain.
Yeah.
It was like they haven't been done nursing and licking their wounds, and they haven't been done. Even in terms of like my sister, she's a few years younger than me. In terms of school, it's like 3 years below me, right? She's darker than me, and I assumed that she had a worse experience, right? She didn't at all, because there'd been something, there'd been a little bit of a change in terms of understanding her natural hair texture. White kids had seen more of that. They'd seen me, they'd seen my black people, and seen us kind of elevate. They'd seen like all of these kind of changes. So she didn't get all of that brunt. So when I was told about this stuff, and I was expecting her to be so angry and stuff like that, she was like, "That's so sad. It's so sad that you went through that, Jewel." So and you had all that stuff. So definitely, like, again, it might have something to do with where I live. It might have something to do with where I live a little bit. But in terms of like it actually working, it's working, but we caught people that weren't healed.
Yeah.
Like
I think it's working. I don't think I'd be here today if it didn't work. I remember being like about 17 and just seeing a lot of positivity about being dark skinned, about having 4C hair, about the nose, Beyonce coming out with her songs about having a Negro nose and loving her Negro nose. Like those little things really do change the way you feel about yourself. So I do think that maybe to a black man who hasn't had the same push, you may see it as just like, yeah, whatever. But if you thought, okay, when I think about myself 7 years ago, completely different person. And I think Black Girl Magic and that movement definitely changed a lot.
Honestly, if it is the case that, more girls than not are saying, yeah, like some of this change, this wave of positive affirmation is actually kind of effective, that's great. But for me, I'm still a little bit skeptical in terms of how sustainable it's going to be, how sustainable it will continue to be, and where it's just going to go, and if what we're seeing is genuine.
Everything is taught. So like little black girls were taught that their hair was unmanageable, their skin was too dark. Little black boys were taught that if your hair was not low, if you can't wear dreads because you look unprofessional, all of this kind of stuff was taught. If we are learning, the next generation will learn.
Yeah.
Because we'll be the parents.
Exactly.
Like, I remember being sat there under the hot comb and all like, nothing wrong with straight hair. I love my relaxed babes, love my heat trained naturals, love it. But like the fact that I was taught that my hair was unmanageable, because my mum was taught that her hair was unmanageable, and my grandma was taught that her hair was unmanageable. Like now, my mum sees my hair, she sees that I will do stuff with it, I'll braid it up, sometimes I'll have it out, I'll do all this kind of stuff, and she's like, wow, it's beautiful that you've learned to do that. She'll touch my hair and be like, wow, it's soft. Because she wasn't taught how to make her hair soft. So now I'm teaching my mum how to make her hair soft. Do you see what I mean? Like these are the things where it's like, okay,
I do think it really
we're seeing a change and it's positive. The 4C part of like the hair movement was a different wave to the original natural hair movement. Like it came late, and suddenly I'm seeing people with my hair type doing twist ups, learning about the LOC method, learning about all this kind of stuff, which like I hope I'm not really boring you guys. Like, it's not like something that boys might be concerned with, but like there's so many things that have been positive for Black women in terms of this stuff. The only thing that I wonder, and I think after all of this kind of stuff, we start to kind of, I did have a few friends kind of be like, oh, is it real? Was more so around boys and their preferences. Have male preferences actually changed? Even though Black women are accepting themselves and blah, blah, is it still the lighter skinned women that's preferred? Personally, in terms of the people I surround myself with, that's not what I've seen. Like, the people that I attract, like brown skin and dark skin girls, I've even been told that, oh, you're not as dark as the girls I usually go for, but you're all right. So, like, there's that. But, like, I don't know, like, maybe the majority of Black boys still do prefer light-skinned girl. I don't know. Like, that's not my surroundings. Maybe the boys would though, actually. Like, and maybe that's why you feel that way.
But then it matters who you surround yourself with, because I don't see yourself having friends that are like that. I don't think you have friends that are like that.
And
so
you probably would not have someone around you that would even feel comfortable saying it if
anymore.
Even if it was true. So that could be a thing. But I mean, that's a good question. I think, because I know I didn't necessarily think about it before, but I had a conversation and it was like they were saying, oh, the reason why it's like we felt that way before was because it was like, men look for a kind of trophy in their partner, right? Like, aside from whether I love this person or aside from whether I actually like this person, they're looking for a trophy, right? So if the group mentality is that this specific type is the trophy, then you see that a disproportionate of attention will go to the trophy. Whereas I think once you grow older and you just become more comfortable being an individual, you're not necessarily so concerned with getting the trophy to make everyone else impressed. You just look for what you like, and what you like is what you like. I think maybe that might be my own personal.
Yeah,
I know when I went through my tweets, I kept on mentioning light is this, light is that, light is this. And I was like, most of the girls that you talk to, they're not even like, well, in recent memory at least. Maybe back then, all I cared about was light, because that's what my tweets were definitely telling me. That's all I cared about back then. But when I look at it now, I'm like, that doesn't even correlate with like me now. So I think it is about growing up, becoming an individual. And some guys never do that. Some guys never become an individual. They just constantly do things for the trophy. They do whatever they have to do to get a certain card. They do whatever they have to do to live a certain way and portray themselves a certain way because of the whole trophy and group thing. But certain people just become their own selves. So I think you are seeing that in men.
No, I mean, that is part of the issue then. So it's the herd mentality, like the people who are in positions to influence. You're talking about like lessons being passed down, but the lessons that for a lot of these guys that are being passed down, ones that do have influence, they're rapping, they're saying, look, this is it. This is what you should be paying attention to. This is what's hot. This is what's good. I think those lessons are more likely to overtrump the ones that some may get taught at home as opposed to in the media and stuff. So in that regard, it's always sort of like a tug of war, really, and
Mm.
you want to make sure that the wrong side isn't winning.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We need to be self-aware of the fact that, you know, on the other side there are still people talking about lighties and lighties this and lighties that.
That's why I feel positive affirmations work, because even though I see that on the outside, I talk to myself and I don't say those things to myself. Like, negative self-talk is not a thing. But do you know what I mean? So I think the Black Girl Magic and the affirmation movement was great, because we know that people feel that way about us, but we no longer feel that way about ourselves, and that's what matters most, I think.
100%. Like, there used to be a point where I'd literally run from the sun.
Yeah.
And now,
summertime, no.
Bruv, you're there doing this. When I went to Ghana, when I went to Portugal, last year I went on so many holidays. My foundation shade has never gone back. I've never been so happy with my complexion. Like, and like, I can't. If I told 13-year-old Jewel that you will be darker than you are now, and you will be happier with your appearance,
yeah,
she'll be looking at me like, what?
There's no way.
Like, with her crusty, burnt up, relaxed hair, she'll be looking at me like, what? like, do you know what I mean? Like, it was. I get it. I get it. Not believe me at all.
That's what we have to try and make stick. So obviously, as that mentality on the women's side changes, you know, that self-confidence and, you know, that self-assurance will convey through, and it will push through that whole sort of I guess that whole lighty bullshit mentality.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And that's why we have to be. We have these conversations with like men that date into white women or outside of their race about being careful about who they have children with, because they might be racist. But as Black women, in terms of the Black men that we end up dating, let's just not be happy that we got our cute dude or whatever. Like, have those conversations, find out internally what he's dealing with, because a lot of this positive affirmation is going towards women, because we view we women, beauty is important to us or whatever, but we don't understand that a lot of our men are still actually very insecure about certain things in regards to their appearance and their Blackness, and the fact that they have to assimilate so much. Black men are so much better at assimilation than we are, because they've been in certain spaces for longer than we are. So, like, in terms of their identity, like, just saying that he can slip into spaces in and out quite easily, that's something that's like ingrained. So, like, if you end up marrying a guy who has not been able to kind of separate certain things and be like, I need to assimilate in this space, but I'm still really proud of my Blackness and all of this and all of that, and is not quite aware of that yet, what's he going to teach your son? Like, we can all be like, yeah, I'm feeling positive, da, da, da. We forget about men and their self-esteem and their confidence and how they're feeling about themselves so much. Like, we don't understand that somebody saying, oh, I like a lighty, I want this, I want that. What? Your own skin color, do you think it's ugly? I spoke to one guy that said that he would never date a girl that was his skin color. Are you biased? Is your skin color, is it dirty? Do you know what I mean? Like, we need to, these are the conversations, instead of just getting angry and being like he was really surprised by my response. He thought I'd be angry, and I was like, are you okay? Like, do you need to have a conversation around your Blackness? What's going on? Where you said, was something said to you about your skin tone? Like, what's going on? And obviously guys get a bit cagey around talking about their emotions, but like, it's a thing where we actually do have to have that conversation, and hopefully maybe his girlfriend will tap into that one day. But like, do you know what I mean? Like, these are
yeah, I mean, the psychology behind it is equally as important.
Yeah,
you don't doubt that.
That is Kayla Bianca. If anyone wants to follow me, I'm kind of boring on Twitter.
There you go. At least.
If anyone's bored on a Saturday afternoon, my church runs a debate every Saturday at 3 p.m. So
And what?
I'm guessing that's on Zoom now.
it's on Zoom, yeah. So
It's on Zoom now.
like you can see updates on that on my Twitter. Miss Jewellie, MSJEWELLIE. You'll be able to see updates.
Is it a debate? Is it a debate between the people in the chat, or is it a debate with people outside?
we call it a debate, but oftentimes we call it a debate because opposing views happen to come up a lot of the time.
Okay.
But like we try and talk about things that is touchy within Christianity. So we've spoken about is submission still something that should exist in modern day relationships. We've spoken about masculinity and Christianity. Does Christianity challenge masculinity? What else have we spoken about? This week we're speaking about am I hearing God's voice or is it just me? And there's also going to be a testimony session at the end. So yeah, like this probably won't be out for people to attend that one, but like it's a thing that we do. So yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, no, it sounds really good.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good, yeah.
All right, cool. Now we're really done.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Thank you.